Here we are where we left off, turning Fred's head
Keep his
and
eye lines.
putting some guidelines in.
All these guidelines going.
Figure out where his features go as we turn his head. And like I said, this one favors the last drawing 7, more than it does drawing 1. Here I'm putting in his jawline to turn him. I've got a roughed in center line, which I may or may not change. There's his ear going in there. Now let's figure out where to put his other ear as he turns. This one really favors drawing 7 a lot. So it's not a halfway drawing between 3 and 7. This one is more closely like drawing 7. And the clump of hair in the front, that should be nice, fluffy, poofy shape, because it's Fred, and he's a nice guy. Now we get the back of the head, and let's come down to the back and figure out where these bottom clumps go that go across his face. Notice how I'm lifting the paper up so I can check where things go. And this is called rolling the drawings. Here's his jaw and the neck. Trying to figure out exactly how to get that clump going there. Maybe it needs to be smoothed over and moved a little bit. So here I'm putting in the center line, and here's the edge of the face. Now let's look at the eyeball going in. And let's move the other eye over here. And notice how I make the eyes, they're kind of rounded circles, rounded squares that become circles, basically. He doesn't have exactly an eye that surrounds the pupil with white the way the Archie characters do. They kind of leave that out. So here I'm putting in the mouth, and you can see the corner of the mouth over here. That big Fred smile. Such a happy guy. And then let's get the bottom of the mouth and the edge. And here's the bottom lip. Roll the drawings again to check everything, to make sure everything is got the right volume and the placement. These are important things when you're an in-betweener. Bottom of that hair in the back of his head. And remember I said we don't do a drawing where he's fully facing camera straight on, because on these characters sometimes it looks okay, but most of the time it doesn't. So we leave those out and we just quickly go from one drawing to the other. If it doesn't look right, we can always add an even number drawing in between these odd number in-betweens, and that will slow down or smooth out the action for your director, depending on what he wants to see. How fast is this action supposed to be? And like I said, this is why we use odd numbers for the drawings. Still checking to make sure the eyes look just right. I think we've got the eyebrows in the right spot. And we just keep massaging these lines here to see if the placement is just right for the hair. Now I'm darkening in with a slightly darker blue pencil. This is a Collie Race blue pencil, 1276. Collie Race has been bought and sold a number of times, so maybe under another name by now. The last ones I got, Sanford had bought them. It looks like they renumbered it to 20044. But the older ones were 1276. They also made a light blue pencil back in those days. I think its number used to be, well, here's a Collie Race where they were bought by Faber-Castell, and the number is 1283, and it's light blue. So I'm not sure who owns the Collie Race line these days. They apparently get bought and sold every once in a while. Okay, so here again I'm checking the cheeks, make sure the cheeks are nice and round. That one looks a bit narrow. I may need to go back and fluff that one out a bit just to make it look a little bit chubbier, youthful for Fred. Get the top of the eye, and let's get that eyebrow over there. And then this eyebrow, we check to see if it's in the right spot. And there it is. So it's coming together okay. Rounding out the eyes, the pupils. Get the top lid just right there. And then the mouth here. So this is a tightening up with blue pencil. And now we can check the movement here by putting the drawings back in order. This goes better if you turn off the light. So there's our 357, 357. Whoa, 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 357, 357. So we seem to be in a pretty good spot at this point. Now let's put down drawing one and check them all. So how the whole thing looks. Everything on the pegs here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 3, 5, 7. So doing it this way makes a nice snappy head turn. It doesn't get bogged down with a lot of in-betweens that are basically there for no reason at some points. But doing it like this makes it nice and snappy and fast. The fluff of hair probably should have been a little bit wider, but we'll take care of that later. Such a happy guy. Now we can go back over drawing 3 and start darkening in some stuff with the blue pencil here. Let's get those eyes looking just right. You want to make sure those pupils are nice and round for Fred. They're not elongated, they're not ellipses. They're nice round dots. And the eyelid above the eye goes in like that. And let's see what else. 357. 357. He's looking like he's turning his head from left to right. So try it again. 1, 3, 5, 7. 1, 3, 5, 7. You see him turning his head and animating right on over that. Getting down into little tiny points now that actually make him look more like Fred. Let's get that bottom of the chin just right. I think I made it a little bit rounder there. And the back of the hair, back of his head. These are just little tiny touch-ups being done at this point. I can erase some of the lines. This used to be called rubbing down the drawing, so that you got rid of some of the lines, just to keep it more clear as to what you want to do. So here's our model sheet, and I took that drawing of Fred 3/4 and turned his head from left to right. Probably looking to see what kind of vegetarian sandwich or hoagie Shaggy and Scooby are eating. 1, 3, 5, 7. 1, 3, 5, 7. 1, 3, 5, 7. 1, 3, 5, 7. This is how we roll the drawings to check movement and volume, action, timing, spacing. 1, 3, 5, 7. And I didn't get that poofy cloud of hair just right, so I erased it. And we take a blue pencil and figure out how to make it a little bit puffier, so it looks more like drawing 1. Where's that line start? It starts actually back here and poofs up, and then comes down and around. Let's take an eraser and erase some of that out. I don't know if you can still get this eraser. And let's go over with our black pencil. This is a 5B Statler. They make really good pencils. I like how the lead goes down on the page with this. And heavy up some of the lines on the outside. So that's the wrap up for Inbetweening Fred 1 through 5, 7, 1 through 5, 7. And we'll see you next time. I'll do another character.